For a year, I have been using a laptop. Meet the HP Laptop 15DY5XXX. Inside, you get a 12th Gen Intel Core i7-1255U, integrated Iris Xe graphics, 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage. All was worth $799 without taxes, but I got it $200 off, making the total $658.99 including taxes. While many of you might agree that this is one beefy boy for a decent price, believe it or not, it's not even close to being a beefy boy. But why, you ask? For that, I have to switch to detective mode.
So, my laptop uses an Intel 12th Gen Core i7-1255U. The U stands for ultra-low power, which means that it has 2 performance cores and 8 efficient cores, totaling 10 cores, which is great for power efficiency, but no performance at all, which I crave for. I ran a Cinebench benchmark test for the CPU, multi-core test. As you can see, the laptop is struggling and only passed 3 render tests. Scorings 3,330 points. What about the Intel Iris Xe GPU? Well, yep, as you can see, 2 FPS for 1080p GPU benchmarking. And I am getting 11 FPS because I have a Chrome window open, so that it does not black out. Nice. And there is more. The battery capacity depleted by 18.3% within a year. Flimsy design. And these questionable spots. I used Mural Score benchmarking to benchmark my CPU, GPU and SSD. And my laptop could only run 3 games. Nice. If you ask me who this laptop is really for, honestly, I don't know. It's not suitable for software engineers because when the CPU is under load, it practically initiates self-destruct. It's certainly not for 3D designers and gaming people, given its 1 to 8 MB integrated graphics. One complex mesh or texture, and the display card just nukes itself. This is just an overpriced, low-spec laptop. It might be okay for students, but there are cheaper and better options out there. That's why I chose to build a custom PC. And I am going to show how to do it yourself, from scratch. So without further ado, let's start.
Now, before you put together a completely nonsensical PC build list, hear me out. You need to ask yourself 3 questions. What, how much, and what? What do you want the PC to do? Gaming, 3D and all that. How much are you willing to spend? That is, your budget for the custom PC. And what parts are you going to use to assemble your PC? I used a site named PCPartPicker.com to build my full PC setup. PCPartPicker.com is the best site that you could use to assemble your parts and build your custom PC. Doesn't matter if you are a noob or expert. It has a compatibility filter, which is useful, as it sorts the PC parts that is compatible with your build and omits that isn't. It shows prices from major retailers and chooses the lowest price retailers offer. You can plan to build your custom PC using PCPartPicker.com, but before you do that, if you are a total noob, don't worry. I recommend watching YouTube videos from my favorite YouTubers like Meta PCs, Tech Source, Linus Tech Tips, Zach's Tech Turf, and so on and so forth. After a week, you will become an expert on PC parts, guaranteed. If not, just buy a pre. If you are not sure, you can use ChatGPT to create a custom PC build for you. Open ChatGPT, click on the plus icon, and click on Deep Research. Then enter what you want the PC to do and the budget, and some extras if you want. ChatGPT may ask some question, but after answering them, you will get a pretty good custom PC build tailored for your needs. And after some time, you can see a custom PC build tailored for your needs and budget. You can also discuss more with ChatGPT and maybe change the parts to your liking. But before you finalize your build using ChatGPT, please check the web for information regarding your build list, because they say one may and will make mistakes. After a lot of research, this is my final PC build list, with a budget of approximately $2,500, so that me and my brother can do video editing, 3D designing, and much more. It took 2 months for me to plan my custom PC, but it was worth it.
Y'all ready for this?
Before you buy all the parts, study your parts. Watch the product reviews of the parts of your build in YouTube. Check the reviews of your parts on Amazon, Newegg, and all trusted sellers. Then, watch videos on how to build a PC in YouTube. I would suggest watching Tech Source's How to Build Your PC Guide 2025 edition, because it explains how to build AM4, AM5, Threadripper and Intel socket CPU PCs. This video is great for all beginners, so check the video out, link in the description.
Here comes the money.
If you have finalized your PC build list, you can go ahead and buy them. I would urge you to check prices from Micro Center also, and keep eye on the RAM, CPU and motherboard bundle offer of your desired CPU. As I got $180 off the total price, but the only downside is that you cannot change the motherboard or the RAM, but you can upgrade it. It was time to build the PC. I was very nervous, but there is no going back, because I can't pay $200 for them to build my PC. So, I started building my first custom PC. I will explain all the components while I am building.
And here we go.
I first unboxed the power supply because while building the PC, static electricity is generated that may damage the components if it comes with contact. So we have to ground the static electricity by plugging the power supply to the power outlet and not turning the power supply on, and place your hands where the fan is. You have to do this repeatedly or buy an anti-static bracelet. For the power supply, I chose the Corsair Mate 508 that delivers 850 watts of power to power up all the components. This power supply is ready to use for NVIDIA RTX 50 series cards. For the CPU, I chose the Intel Core Ultra 9285K, which is a 24-core and 24-threads chipset with 8 performance and 16 efficient cores. It has a base frequency 3.7 GHz and turbos to 5.7 GHz. For the motherboard, I chose the Gigabyte Z890 Gaming X Wi-Fi 7. This motherboard comes with LGA 1851 socket to support Intel's Core Ultra CPUs. This motherboard is equipped with RGB lights and has a silver, white, and black finish to it. So first, we have to install the CPU. First, open the CPU socket by releasing the latch. You will see a small triangle in your CPU and motherboard socket. Align the triangle on the CPU with the triangle in the motherboard socket. Gently place the CPU on the motherboard socket, making sure that the triangles align. Do not apply force to secure the CPU. Now, close up the CPU socket and put the latch back. As you do this, the black plastic cover should pop up. Keep the black cover safe for future reference. Now with the CPU installed, it's time for the RAM. I went with the Corsair Vengeance 2, 32GB sticks of RAM, totaling 64 GB of RAM, with XMP or Expo compatible depending on your CPU. It has a maximum speed of 6,000 megatransfers per second with CES latency of 30. Compatible with both AMD and Intel CPUs. While installing the RAM, open the tabs of the RAM slots, then insert the RAM into the slots using the notch as the guide, and insert it until you hear a click sound. Now with the RAM installed, it's time for the SSD. I went with the Samsung 990 Pro 2TB NVMe M.2 SSD. It is a very fast storage drive that makes your PC boot in about 4 to 8 seconds. Loads games in a few seconds, and transfers files up to 7,450 megabytes per second read, and 6,900 megabytes write. To install the SSD, open the Easy Latch, click by pushing it up, slide the SSD into the slot using the notch as a guide. Then press the SSD down until it clicks, and the latch locks it in place. Make sure it is flat and secure. Next, install the M.2 heatsink. Make sure that the latch secures the heatsink. Now with the SSD installed, it's time for CPU cooling. I chose the NZ XT Kraken Plus 360 all-in-one cooler. I chose this because the Intel 9 Ultra 285K is a spicy boy, so to cool it down, an all-in-one cooler is a must. This has a 360mm radiator, 3 fans, and a display that can show system temps or custom images and animations. I used the Intel mounting kit that came with the NZ XT Kraken Plus 360 all-in-one cooler. First, place the backplate on the rear of the motherboard, lining it up with the holes on the CPU socket. Then install the standoffs on the front side of the board, screwing them into the backplate. This locks the backplate in place and gets the board ready for the pump block. After prepping the motherboard, it's time for the case. I went with the ASUS TUF GT 502, a mid-tower case that balances airflow, aesthetics, and build quality. It features a sturdy steel frame, tempered glass side panel, and plenty of room for high-end components. Cable management is clean with multiple routing options, and it supports large graphics cards, multiple radiators, and plenty of storage drives. The front and top panels have good ventilation, making it perfect for keeping high-performance parts cool under load. After prepping the motherboard, it's time to put it in the case. Start by lining up the I/O shield with the back panel of the case, making sure it sits flush. Carefully lower the motherboard onto the standoffs, checking that all the screw holes are properly aligned. Once everything is lined up, secure the motherboard with the screws, tightening them just enough to hold it firmly without stressing the board. With the motherboard now in place, your build has a solid foundation, ready for the next components like the CPU cooler and power connections. Next, it is time for connecting the case wires to the motherboard for the RGB, USB ports and so on. Check the user manual for instructions. Now, back to the all-in-one cooler. Install the fans. Since I am installing the radiator on the top of the case, I have to set the fans to exhaust. To do that, line it up with the nice side facing front and the wiring side on the back. Then, screw the radiator on the top of the case. Don't fully screw it, as you might want to adjust it. Now, for the pump block installation. It came with pre-applied thermal paste, which is nice. I placed the all-in-one cooler's pump block carefully onto the CPU, making sure it sat evenly. I tightened it gradually using the zigzag method, so it made full contact without putting stress on the CPU. Now for the power supply. With a few screws, it is installed on the case. Use the zigzag method to screw it in place for even pressure. Now, since the power supply is fully modular, we can select what all cable we want and connect them to the power supply. Now, for the case fans, I chose the Thermalright TLC1-C. These fans can reach up to 1550 RPM, silent, good quality and cheap. I did not install all of it, because we need a fan splitter hub to avoid taking too much power from one fan header by daisy chaining the fans, so we kept a fan on the bottom as intake, one on the side as intake, one as exhaust, and the top 3 radiator fans as exhaust until the fan hub arrives. Before installing the graphics card, Remove the side brackets according to your graphics card size. I needed to remove 3 of the brackets. For the GPU, I bought the PNY EPIC X or GB, overclocked, GeForce or TX 5060 Ti, 16GB VRAM. Now, before you PC nerds watching this troll me for choosing this GPU, hear me out. I chose this for 2 reasons. 1. Budget constraints. I chose the high-end CPU, which blew my budget, and I would think getting Ultra 7 could have been the best choice, leaving money to buy a powerful GPU. But unfortunately, I can't time travel and go back to change my decision. 2. A 16GB VRAM GPU was a must, so I chose this. But if you guys can support this video by liking, sharing and subscribing, in the future, I would consider maybe upgrading the GPU. The core clock speed is 2407 MHz and boosts up to 2692 MHz. 4608 CUDA cores, DirectX 12 ready, OpenGL 4.6 and NVIDIA DLSS 4. It has 3 fans for cooling and runs most games at 1440p resolution. With the latch open, slowly bring your GPU and insert into the PCIe slot, making sure it does not bend or the side brackets block while doing so. Now, after connecting all the wiring, it is time for peripherals. For the keyboard, I went with the Corsair K5 Core RGB keyboard, a great keyboard for a great price. For the mouse, I went with the Corsair Harpoon Pro mouse, a great mouse with customizable buttons. This also has RGB lighting. Finally, for the monitor, I chose this SUSE UFEG to 7AQ All-3 27-inch monitor with 1440p resolution, NVIDIA G-Sync and AMD FreeSync compatible. This monitor has a refresh rate of 180 Hz. A big jump from 60 Hz for me. With all that plugged in, time to turn it on. And as you can see, we have RGB. And we have display. Now, installing an operating system. You can install Windows, Linux, or Chrome OS. I would urge you to install Windows to fully utilize your PC parts. To install Windows, you would need a USB stick with minimum storage size of 8 GB. I have 32 GB drive, which is more than enough. Connect the drive to another PC or laptop. Make sure the drive does not have any important files, as the drive will be formatted to defaults. Open your desired browser and search for Windows 11 installation media. Then open the Microsoft site. Go down, under Create Windows 11 Installation Media. Press Download Now, and install the app. Open the app. Click Accept. Now, select the edition and language you want. Click Next. Since I am using a USB, select USB and click Next. Then, select the USB drive and click Next. This will install the Windows 11 installer in the USB. This might take a while. The drive is ready. Now you can safely remove the drive. And plug the USB. And plug it to the PC. And when the PC is turned on, I got it to boot right to the Windows installer. After the setup, I got into Windows 11. I got a message to download the drivers, but I cannot do so without a Wi-Fi adapter. The motherboard comes with inbuilt Wi-Fi, but there are no drivers. I tried downloading and loading the drivers into the USB and plugged the USB to the PC to run the driver installers, but it didn't work. I tried using my mom's iPhone to use USB tethering. It did not work, but when I used my granddad's Android USB tethering, it worked perfectly. I also got the fan splitter hub, and after some cable management, this is my PC's final look. When I ran the Cinebench benchmark test, the CPU scored 39,379 points, beating every CPU in the ranking. When I benchmarked the GPU using Mark, the GPU scored 8,279 points, averaging 137 FPS, with temperatures hitting at 72 degrees Celsius. I then ran NeroScore, and my PC was better than 95% results and can play all the games, no problem. I hope you enjoyed watching my video. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.